What do you need to think about if you are within 30 days of putting your house up for sale? So Sean, if you were putting your house up for sale next month, what would be on your list to do?
Oh, first and foremost, some maintenance on my yard.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when me and Chad come over, sometimes we're like, Chad's always like, does he need some tips?
Wow.
What else? What else would you do?
um, Make sure that all my exterior light bulbs are working.
Mm-hmm.
Replace those if need be. Around my front door, make sure there's no wood rot. There shouldn't be. It's a fairly new. It's only a couple of years old, but I know that there's some dust and stuff that I'd want to
Yeah.
clean up. Some cobwebs I'd get out of the
Mm-hmm.
corners.
So at your house, the front door is covered by a porch.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps protect it. But I bet if you take a look at that back door,
Oh yeah.
it might not be protected as much. And how do you fix that? Like, what are some ways that if you find some wood rot that you would fix it?
I'd replace the wood.
So Sean, he's young, y'all, right? How many houses have you owned?
Paint over it.
Yeah, you could paint over it. He was going to replace the wood. And sometimes you have to do that. But a lot of times you can take a little bit of wood filler.
Mm.
You fill in because whenever it starts to rot, it cracks open. And then you paint it. And it looks brand new. Now, another thing you can do with that is Chad has at some places that we've lived that they rotted all the time because they were so exposed to the elements. It's always at the bottom because the water splashes up a lot. He would cut that, and you may have done this with him at one house, and then he put metal.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Like flashing.
Yeah, so the bottom of it was just metal, and then he painted it to match, and there was no more wood rot. But you want to make sure that wood won't rot. Now, my tip is to go through the inside, and whether you are doing the inside or you're making somebody else do it on the inside, but you want to look at those light bulbs on the inside too, because when you flip on a light and half of them don't work, the house doesn't show as well if they don't match. You get used to it, but from a stranger, all those things are just glaring. Another thing I always tell you to do, and this one's not fun, is look at your shower doors at the bottom. You know how sometimes they'll get that goop? You got to clean that up because did you see that face? He's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But from a buyer's perspective, when they see that, they make that same face and it becomes attached to your house.
Yeah.
And that's not how you sell a house.
And it may very well, the same thing may exist at their current home, but it just doesn't show well
Yeah.
when someone's looking to buy.
They don't notice it at their house, but at your house, they definitely do. Now, I used to give this tip and I got in a little bit of trouble, but I used to say, you want to clean your house like your mother-in-law's coming over. Now, I'm your mother-in-law. So if you, what are you laughing? He's got too big of a laugh. I come over so often, you don't have to clean up. But think if your mother-in-law doesn't live 3 minutes away, what would you clean if she was coming over? Because I notice with you, when your parents are coming over, he blows the leaves off. He does more outside. When we come over,
Coincidence.
it's
just
not,
coincidence.
It is not a coincidence. All right, so what else do they need to think about if they're about to sell their house in the next 30 days?
You really need to be flexible with showings.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be times when it feels very inconvenient. You're not going to want to leave your house at that particular time or something, but that could be the one buyer.
Yeah.
And you only need one.
Yeah, you only need one. So is it just being flexible on showings? Where else do we need some flexibility?
On the closing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever closing date they have in mind, it may not be the most convenient for you or what you had in mind, but it could result in the best in your pocket in the end.
Well, and one of the things like sellers don't always think about is like, you can't just say, well, we want to close on this date, because some loans take a certain amount of time. Like you got to have the appraisal, you got to get through the financing. So like sometimes I'll have people who will be like, well, we want to close on exactly this day. And I always tell them very, very sweetly. So I'm not going to say it as sweetly on this video, but if I was talking to you and you were going through it, I would be a little bit sweeter. But basically, you got to wait till the money's going to show up. Because if it's cash, yes, we can make that happen. But if it's not cash, you literally have to wait until the bank is ready to release the funds.
Mhm.
So the buyer can want to close on a certain day, you can want to close on a certain day, but whoever has the money is going to make the decision. You
Yeah,
think?
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely. So those are just some things to keep in mind. And then I got to give them a bonus one.
Yeah.
You could do yourself a huge favor and just hire us. And we can kind of walk you through this and make it easy for you.